At the Wings India Summit in Hyderabad at the Begumpet Airport, joining me is Vinay Dube, founder Akasa Air. Vinay, thank you for joining us on Business Today Television. Quite a day, quite a year, yet we are back. I'm going to begin by asking you that 2025 has not been considered a great year for the Indian aviation sector because of a lot of mishappenings. Now that we begin with 2026, where do you see the sector flourishing?
Yeah, so first I'll say that anytime you have fatalities in aviation, it affects everyone. And from that perspective, absolutely, it was not a good year for Indian aviation. On the Akasa side, looking at it in a very sort of microscopic and perhaps a slightly selfish way of just Akasa as an airline, I think we've had a great 2025. I think we've seen close to 50% top line growth. Our EBITDA margins continue. We've taken delivery of several aircraft, and that translates and continues in 2026. We're on track to get more than one aircraft every month, 1 to 2 aircraft every month. We'll continue to see large double-digit growths in top line as well as bottom line. But most of all, it is the response from consumers to Akasa that we are thrilled with. I think people are recognizing the warmth and the empathy that Akasa shows, but also the dependability with which we operate the airline. And that's heartwarming.
Okay, 31 aircrafts, if I'm right with the number, right now in your space. A lot more to be added on the rundown. You've already given a number. You're awaiting deliveries, like you also just mentioned. Are we on track with the plan?
We are. In fact, 31 was a number that you could have said maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Since then, we're at 33.
Okay.
So I'll answer your question with real facts that we've got 2 more deliveries from perhaps the last time we provided the number, which was 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Okay, 33. In terms of international expansion, how have things been working out in your favor? Because you've also targeted sectors which are quite in demand, also with the Gulf Airlines.
Correct. I think we want to fly to where Indians want to fly to, whether it's Indians flying from here, Indians coming back to the country, or where we can bring in tourists here or take tourists out, right? So we will follow the demand. And so, yes, at this particular process, the demand, whether it's business and travel, is for the sectors that we're flying to, which is, Abu Dhabi, Doha, Jeddah, Phuket, Kuwait, and Riyadh. And we see that continuing. So today, about 25% of our capacity, as measured by ASKs, flies internationally, and that's only going to grow in time.
Okay. I know it's not going to be the right moment to try and discuss about profitability in aviation because we all know the turbulences that the sector has been fighting globally. So I don't want to get on the specifications of balance sheet, but does this still make an opportunity for you to go ahead, expand, and also come up with an IPO in order to kind of infuse capitally?
Absolutely. Better than we've ever felt about it. So you're right, early stage airlines will naturally not be as profitable as large, mature, older airlines, and we're going through that phase at Akasa. But financially, we are, I'd say, well ahead of any plan that we could have envisioned. And yes, an IPO certainly is on the cards, but more than that financially, I think just building an airline for the generations. We can see having 200, 300 aircraft at Akasa. Right, that's the kind of financial foundation that we've built, where we can see 5 and 10 years ahead with a lot of confidence, and that's great. But that's not just a story about Akasa and the discipline with which we have built and operated this airline, but that's the India story as well, right? I mean, India as a country is growing. The economic engine of India is second to none, and so Akasa is just a reflection of what's happening in the country.
Okay. The engine of an aircraft, which is the pilots, have been quite the talk of the town in the country for quite some time. Tell me, what is your current strength with pilots at Akasa? And if I understand right, that you do have a lot of pilots vacant wanting to fly the aircrafts. Is that right?
So we have 775 pilots approximately at Akasa. I don't believe there is any pilot that is not flying today. So not a single Akasa pilot is not accruing hours. And when I say not a single, there may be 5 or 6 or 10 here and there out of 775. So I might have I might have missed a very, very small percentage, but the vast majority, if not 95+%, are already accumulating flying hours. So to your question, no, there's no one sitting on the ground saying I'm not flying. Everyone's accumulating flying hours. We also have one of the highest pilot to aircraft ratios, which has stood us in good stead at this moment in time, and that's just an investment. So you talk about pilots have been lately the talk of the town, but for us, pilots have been central and key for as long as we have been operating. You can't run an airline without pilots, and so they are as important a foundation and cornerstone of Akasa as they've ever been.
Okay. Any major pitch at wings that Akasa is making, except the fact that you are the fastest growing airline in the country?
Well, I hope we are and will be, one day the most loved airline in the country. That will be a nice moniker and tag to have. I think we've got continued growth that we look forward to. So nothing beyond that, Karishma. We're just very happy to participate here.
Are you satisfied on the regulatory front of it? The FTDL norms kicked in. Of course, the extension was given to certain airline because of what happened in the month of December. But overall, has that been a move for the industry?
So I think anytime a regulator, an airline makes moves that improve and enhance safety, it should be viewed holistically as a good thing. So first and foremost, I will say that. Secondly, our regulator has always and continues to solicit feedback from the airline industry as a whole, which we're extremely thankful for, and we provide open and honest feedback, and they always take that into account, because improving safety is a partnership between the regulator and the airlines, and I'm extremely satisfied with that dynamic that we have. We've got an extremely professional regulator, and a regulator that's always open to ideas, and a regulator that's extremely focused on safety.
Great. Thank you very much, Vinay, for joining us on this chat, and wishing you great luck with the airline plans.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Krish.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.